Hello, my darlings. Welcome back to another fanfic reading. I think I should get a couple of things out of the way before I start this reading. First of all, if you can tell that the audio is different than most of my fanfiction readings, that is because I got a new phone and I haven't read anything. I haven't done anything with my channel on my phone yet, so this is me testing it out for the first time. Hopefully it's good, because I ain't going back to my old thingy, and if it's bad, then I'll figure some stuff out. I'll make it sound good. The second thing is, I know I totally just kind of disappeared for most of 3 months. That's kind of because of my new phone. I just was really hesitant on trying to get things started on this. Secondly, I'm planning on moving later in the year, and that's just kind of all this planning and stuff is taking up a lot of time. I'm moving to a university in fall and just trying to do that and all these scholarships and all this stuff. On top of I've been in between jobs for a very long time now, so there's a lot of things going on that's kind of taken up my YouTube time. And I'm so sorry that it's been such a long time. I'm gonna start trying to do my YouTube again more. That's really important to me. There was one more thing. Oh, yeah. In the time that I haven't been uploading, I reached 3,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. Thank you so much for 3,000, guys. That really means a lot to me. So, I figured to kick off the new year, I guess. It's February, but whatever. I'll do a fanfiction reading. Again, like always, if you have any recommendations, recommend anything to me, because I'm kind of, I don't know what my capabilities are on this phone now, so it's a new one. It's a new phone. I just don't know what it can do yet, you know what I'm saying? So if you want me to read something, anything, recommend it. I'm always up for suggestions. So today we are reading a short little Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared fanfiction. It's a one-shot, but it might be a two-shot, I'm not sure. Let's see. This one is called Father to Son or something like that. It's like a Fluffy Bird fanfiction. It's by Yarn and Wire on Wattpad. And yeah, let's get into it. An AU where Manny is Robin and Harry's foster child. They are intensely dysfunctional. It had been a while since Manny had been home. He'd grown up in a very unpleasant environment with his father, but he never considered the idea that he could be taken out of his home due to the conditions. He thought everything was normal until it wasn't. The meetings with his father, the court cases, the silly word custody hadn't come up into play for a while. Now he'd been hopping from home to home, family to family. It was hard to remember so many places and names, especially when he'd never stayed anywhere for more than a few weeks. That is, until he got this one. The dynamic was different than it usually was. There was no one coddling him and asking if he was alright. There was no care package and no instance of counseling or prodding about his life. The family structure wasn't the same either, where there was usually a mommy and a daddy and maybe a few kids. They were just two guys, a tall, long-haired man named Harry and a short, squawking man named Robin. Many supposed these two were married, but their bickering sometimes seemed to show otherwise. He had stayed with the two for several months now, and he made himself pretty well acquainted with each nook and cranny of the house. as well as the various wacky neighbors that would venture over and subsequently be forced out. It did feel overwhelming at times, though, like when Robin and Harry would argue. It would frequently become explosive, devolving into yelling and insulting, and the occasional shove or item thrown. It reminded Manny of home in a way that hurt his brain to think about. He would often retreat into his room to escape the turmoil and possibly have a cry. This argument had been a particularly intense one. Manny hadn't even remembered how it started. One minute they were all right, but the next had become intensely aggressive and escalated into screaming. Harry had his hands clenched into fists. Robin had thrown a vase. Manny did the one thing he could do. He burst into tears and ran to his room, closing the door behind him and taking refuge underneath his sheets. Robin had scoffed and rolled his eyes. "What's up with him?" Harry looked in the direction of the kid's room. "I'll go check it out. I'll take any excuse to quit looking at you," he snapped at the shorter man, quickly walking off to the room before the argument could pick back up again. He gently knocked on the door, listening in. He heard Manny crying and felt an uncomfortable ball in his chest. He really hated it when he felt like that. "Manny, I'm coming in," he said through the door, turning the knob and stepping in. He shut the door behind him before approaching the heap of bedding, disguising the upset child. "Hey, are you alright?" the large man asked flatly and a bit awkwardly. He would never claim to be very skilled when it came to emotions. They were a bit icky and uncomfortable for him. He would always try to make things better, though, even if to just get out of the bad energy. "You made quite a bit of a scene out there." Manny shuffled under the blankets before throwing them off. "Go away," he grumbled, crossing his arms after he wiped his nose against his sleeve. "Don't do that. That's a bit gross, isn't it?" Harry asked before kneeling in front of him, making a mental note to clean that shirt as soon as possible. "Talk to me. What happened? Why are you so down in the dumps?" Manny crossed his arms and looked away, sniffling hard. "You both are so noisy and mean. I don't like it. It's like one and then the other one, and then it's both of the ones, and it's loud." "So you didn't like that we were being loud? I can tell him to pipe down a bit if that's the issue." He felt the tension dissipate from his chest. "There. Easy fix. It's not the loud. Or, not so easy. You guys, you yell and you hurt each other. It's like you hate each other. And if you hate each other, then you hate me." His eyes filled up a bit more with angry tears. Harry instinctively reached up to wipe them away. Hey, I don't hate him, and he doesn't hate me. We just have a funny way of showing we love one another. The louder we yell, the more we care. The more we care, the more we love each other. The more he explained, the worse it sounded, but he supposed it was true enough. "And we definitely don't hate you. Sure, you can be obnoxious and needy, and sometimes you are so extremely stupid that I feel like I need to scream my head off. But hate is such a strong word. I'm sure we both like you well enough." Manny had pretty much clung into the middle part of Harry's last sentence. They liked him. He flung himself forward and wrapped his arms around the large man as much as he could, squeezing them a bit. "I like you guys too." Harry had tensed at first, but slowly relaxed, and a gentle smile spread across his face. For whatever reason, The hug felt pretty nice. He wrapped his arms around the kid and shook his head fondly. "Yeah, I'm sure you do too, kid." He chuckled softly. Part 2. I believe this chapter is going to contain some smut, like almost definitely. And I'm pretty sure this whole thing is, if not a good chunk of it, is smut. So, just a fair warning in case that's not your style. Robin loved his relationship. He truly did enjoy his life with Harry, despite it being rough and frustrating sometimes. One of the things he really loved about it was their sex life. Wow. He never felt neglected. He never found himself feeling any need for more. It was pretty eventful and never dull. There was one thing he disliked about it, though. He wished Harry could be a bit more reactive. He wished he could see the large man squirm and beg, or even just one more than a shaky breath and soft grunts from him. The shorter never brought it up, however, always having thought that Harry showed pleasure and enjoyment more subtly than the average person. It wouldn't be too far off from how he expressed most other emotions, so it wasn't too much of a stretch. Or at least, he thought that before. It was an average day, like any other, a bit afternoon. Manny was out visiting his father, so of course that left Robin and Harry home alone. Robin was sat at the table, skimming through a newspaper while Harry was taking care of some household chores. Robin had strangely felt a bit more affectionate than usual, so he directed it towards the other in the form of affectionate words. "I just finished the dishes. I'll be starting on the floors, I think," Harry hummed, drying his hands of the dishwater. "Oh, so you did. Well, you did a very good job," Robin said, with an approving nod. He noticed how the red man tensed up, but thought nothing of it. After another half hour, of which Harry had spent mopping the floors, he stood up straight and turned towards his partner. "Floor's finished. I'll be, cleaning out the fridge now." "Well done. You've been quite productive today." Again, Harry tensed, though this time his hands clenched a bit and he shifted. "Not much, really. Just a bit of mopping." "Yes, but you've done other things too. You've had a full day of smart decisions, and for that, I'd say you've done a swell job." Harry nodded a bit, quickly turning away as he began to do his last task. He was fumbling with some things, dropping other things, and genuinely being a bit of a mess. Robin had immediately noticed this difference. Usually, he wasn't so sloppy. "Do you need a rest? You can continue later. You've already done so well. You've earned a bit of a break, have you not?" Robin hummed, turning through the newspaper. Harry had almost slapped a container down on the counter. "Hey, could you stop talking like that? It's a bit weird." The shorter man blinked, a bit confused. "What do you mean? I'm not saying anything out of line." He rose a brow at Harry, putting the newspaper down. "No, but you're being nice. I don't like it. Go back to normal." "So being nice to you is wrong now?" "Yes. It makes me feel odd." Harry huffed and crossed his arms. "When you call me that sort of stuff, good and those things, it's weird." He wouldn't look at Robin, but the other could tell something more of this whole situation. "Weird like how?" Robin stood. And how is it weird for me to call you good? I don't know, it's just... It makes me feel hot all over when you say things like that. Surely it's a bit strange. It finally clicked in Robin's head. The man was having a bit of a reaction to the phrase and didn't quite know how to deal with it. He smirked slightly and sat on his chair. Oh, really? You feel hot all over? Come here. Oh, all right. I don't see why me going over there is going to solve the issue, though. The large man stepped over to him, standing in front of him. Sit down there, right in front of me. Why wouldn't I just use a chair? Trust me, dear. All right. He awkwardly sat in front of the other, then looked up at him. Robin could tell that he wasn't used to having to look up at someone. Robin grabbed Harry's chin and tilted his head up, keeping that smirk on his face. You're very pretty, you know, he hummed, moving his face from left to right. He wasn't sure whether it was surprising or not. That he got no pushback. What he did get was a hand gently grabbing his wrist. Hey, I told you it makes me feel weird when you say stuff like that. Oh, I know. But how can I stop when you've always been such a good boy? Harry went completely tense at that, shifting in his spot. His expression softened just a bit. Don't call me that, he said quietly. Why not? It's not my fault you're a good boy. And smart, too. A very smart, good boy. Robin pulled him a bit closer by his chin, earning a moan from the other. Everything seemed to freeze, both just staring at each other. After a few moments, Robin decided to take the moan as confirmation of his theory. He cooed down at the other man. Wasn't that such a nice noise? You sound so pretty. Get up now. Harry almost immediately stood, keeping his hands in front of his business area. Robin hummed softly as he took those hands, moving them out of the way. Oh, really? That excited off a few words? You're cute, he chuckled, reaching his hand down forward to touch him. Harry opened his mouth to protest, but relaxed as he was handled, covering his mouth with one hand. Robin loved to see him so bashful. Bend over the table for me, the Birdman said suddenly. But I'll handle it. Just do as you're told. At that, Harry obeyed. He, despite his embarrassment and internal protests, bent himself over the table. I still don't see how this is meant to work. I'm much too tall for it. The sound of a chair being dragged across the floor suddenly grated on his ears. He debated just telling the other that they should go to the bed or something. Those thoughts were immediately interrupted by feathered hands grabbing at his hips and pulling him back. Robin grinned up against him, running his hands down to his thighs and squeezing at them. So, at that, I think I'm actually going to cut this short. If you would like me to read the full smut scene, go ahead, comment, I will, period. But, it's not that anyway. I think it might be a touch too much for my, my coming back to, no, not coming back. Anyway, if you enjoyed me, again, here, reading to you, like I do, I love to do it. I love all of you so much. Oh, I don't know. Comment, I guess. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Comment below any recommendations you may have for anything, if you do at all. If you missed me. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. don't forget to drink water and love yourself because I love you. Okay? And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.